Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. I had a little extra time before I have to leave out for work today, so I decided to just go ahead and film this video now so it'll be ready to go up tomorrow morning. I decided to just go ahead and film my October book haul for you guys today. It is the 27th. I don't have any plans to buy any more books within the next few days, so this should be my complete October book haul. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it because I have quite a few books. Before I get into the books that I bought, I do want to talk about bookish items that I bought. I can't remember if I bought these at the beginning of October or late September, but I bought 2 candles from the company In the Wick of Time. The first one that I got is Pemberley. This one is a floral candle, I believe, but it was being discontinued, so I decided to just go ahead and pick it up. And the other candle that I got from the same company is the Ricin candle. I wish you could smell this through the camera. I know this probably isn't everybody's favorite, but I love it. Like, I love it way more than I expected to. So now that I'm done talking about those, I'm going to go ahead and get into the books. I usually try to talk about the books in the order that I got them in, but they're still in a pile from the thumbnail picture. So I'm just gonna, pick them up and go with that. The first book that I picked up in October was Food Wars Volume 14. I don't really want to get too much into the description of this. This takes place after the fall selection that occurred in a big chunk of the last few volumes of the manga series. There's another challenge that the first years at the school are going through, and we follow Soma through that. But I will talk more about this in my October wrap up because I have already read this. The next 2 books I got are actually both part of another manga series, and that is Doubt Volume 1 and Doubt Volume 2 by Yoshiki Tanagi. I think that's how you say it. There's these 6 people that are locked in a room, and one of them is a killer, and they have to figure out who it is before all of them are dead. The next book that I picked up was Flowers for Algernon by Danielle Keyes. I picked this up for 2 reasons. One, I remember reading the story in high school, either the entire story or a part of the story, and I remember reading it, and I think I enjoyed it, but I couldn't really remember what the story is about. And also this was mentioned in the book Everything by Nicola Yoon. And one of my reading challenges, I'm participating in the Around the World in 52 Books reading challenge, and one of the challenges is to read a book mentioned in another book. And I figured when this was mentioned, I was like, oh, I remember, if not reading it, at least talking about it in the class in high school, and I wanted to revisit this. So there is this guy named Charlie. He was born with an unusually low IQ. Well, it's an experimental surgery, and they experiment on him and a mouse, and this mouse exhibits like a really high amount of intelligence, and it's like this miracle program, but then the mouse starts to deteriorate, and it becomes a question of whether Charlie will have the same results as this mouse, and that's pretty much all I really know about it. The next book that I got in October was Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. I think that's how you say it. I'm not really sure. I'm sure you have probably already heard of this. This book has been going around BookTube a lot lately. It follows 2 sisters. One is sold into slavery. The other becomes a slave trader's wife. And it follows the 2 sisters and their families across generations. And I have been hearing so many good things about this book, and I decided that I wanted to pick it up. And I know it's probably crazy, but I didn't want the US cover, so I made my first book depository order, and I went ahead and just picked up this cover because I love it a lot more. The next book that I picked up is Some Girls Bite by Chloe Neal, and this is the first book in the Chicago Land Vampire series. And I believe there's probably like more than 15 books in this series. I'm not completely sure about that, but honestly I picked this up because it was a series about vampires, and it takes place, or at least it starts, in Chicago. The next book that I picked up is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, and I don't know if you guys remember seeing this book around. This was like a lot of talk around it a couple years ago when it came out, and it was mainly because of this cover, and this cover is beautiful, but it centers around multiple dimensions, and that really intrigues me. The next couple books I picked up, which are really more graphic novels, is the first 3 books in the Stone Keeper. No, I'm sorry. It's the first 3 books in the Amulet series by Kazuo Kibuishi. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name. I first picked up the first one, and I ended up really enjoying it. And actually my mom read it, and 2 of my younger brothers also read it, and they all really enjoyed it. So as soon as they finished this, one of my little brothers was like, could you pick up the next one? So I got 2 and 3 at the same time, and I think actually the only person who has read 2 and 3 is my mom. The next book that I picked up is a book that I normally would not get because I just usually don't read this genre. It is a nonfiction. It's a memoir by a celebrity, and this is Around the Way Girl by Taraji P. Henson. At first I wasn't really planning on getting this, but after a while and thinking about it, I decided that I wanted to learn more about her and how she's gotten where she is. The next book that I have that I got in October actually came in my October out crate. I've just posted that unboxing on Monday, but that is Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter, and this is based around the Russian folklore of Vasilisa the Beautiful. The last book that I have here to talk about, which I got in October, is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this is the second book in the Illuminae files. But if you don't know, Illuminae follows Katie and Ezra after their planet is invaded. Those 2, as well as the others that escaped, they are making their way to Space Station Heimdall, which is where Gemina takes place. And Gemina follows 2 separate characters aboard the Heimdall, and there's a lot of craziness going on at the space station, as well as the 2 characters from the previous book are making their way to the space station. I have already read the arc, but I do plan on rereading this book because there was a lot missing from the arc. Like, just opening up to here, when in the arc there's probably maybe like 2, possibly 3 faces, and as you can see, all the faces are in here. Let's see if I have any other ones. The art is actually by Marie Lu, I believe. The journal illustrations in this book are by Marie Lu, and I will try to find one towards the beginning. Okay, here's one. So while reading the arc, all of this stuff wasn't in here. Maybe like the print, you know, whatever text would be within those pages that was listed in there, and some of them, not even all of them, had that. But like, all of this wasn't in the arc. So I do plan on rereading this because there is a lot that was like, look at that. That is freaking beautiful. All of this wasn't in the book when I read it, so I do plan on reading this probably at the end of this month or next month. I will be reading this book again. These are all the books that I got in October. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye.